Hey, what's up guys, TheJordude here, back again with another Shadowverse video. I'm actually kind of excited to do this video this time around because it's the first time I'm doing something like this, and that is using this tier maker site. You guys are probably familiar with this. It got pretty popular a little while back, but it's a great website to just like make tier lists or to basically make tiers on your opinions and stuff. So I wanted to do a tier list on the upcoming expansion, Fortune's Hand. Yeah, just to make it clear, this video I'm going to be making the tier list based on the cards that are coming out in the expansion. So basically what I'm reviewing is how good are the new cards for each individual class coming from Fortune's Hand. I'm not making this tier list based on what I think is going to be top tier in the meta for the next meta. Say for example, if I put Blood on S tier, I'm not saying that Blood is going to be tier 1 in the next meta. I'm saying that Blood has S tier cards from Fortune's Hand, if you get what I'm saying. So this is basically kind of a summary of what I've been reviewing from the Fortune's Hand expansion. It's not a meta read. But however, I am planning to do another tier video based on my predictions of what the next meta is going to be. So if you guys are interested in watching that video where I basically predict, okay, Roach Force is going to be in the meta and it's going to be tier 1. If you're interested in something like that, smash the like button for this video and comment down below. And yeah, if I get enough positive feedback, I'll be pretty motivated to making that video. Because if you guys didn't know, Fortune's Hand, they actually released all of the new cards that are going to be coming out in the expansion. So all the silver and bronze cards have all been released on the website. So if you guys haven't had a look recently, you could go check out the website of the Shadowverse website and see all the cards that are going to be coming out very soon in the Fortune's Hand expansion. So instead of going over each individual card, because I think that's going to take me forever to do, and some cards are just basically not worth talking about because they're so bad, I'm just doing this tier video and then talking about why key cards from each class is going to make like each make this class in a certain tier. So yeah, without further ado, let's go into it. So starting off, we got Bloodcraft. Let me check my notes here. Oh yeah, okay. So Bloodcraft, I'm putting it on S tier. Now, again, I'm not saying that Blood is going to be tier 1. This is just saying that Blood, in my opinion, has S tier Fortune's Hand cards compared to like the other classes. Now, the reason for this is that there is just a lot of really good Bloodcraft. If you look at the Bloodcraft cards and then you look at other class cards like Dragoncraft, for example, Bloodcraft cards are really nice. So we have Luzin, first of all, which is a very strong card. It's going to be good in both either an Avarice deck or a Wrath deck. I think this is going to be even better in a Wrath played deck. So you're probably getting Unselfish Grace a lot of times. And then when the countdown's up, you get your Luzin. Because the reason why I'm saying this is that the rest of these cards, like the silver and bronze cards that they released for Blood, are all Wrath cards. And they're all very good Wrath cards. So for example, Vampire of Calamity, very powerful Wrath card, nice accelerate 1 removal spell, and the 7 play point follower is also just strong. This card is also really nice. It's just a 2-drop, but this 2-drop is actually insane. If Wrath is active for you, gain +1/+4. +1/+4, hello? 3/6, rush, and drain. And then if you use, and that's just a regular 2 cost. So for 2 play points, if your Wrath is active, you get 3/6 rush and drain. If you use Enhance 6, you summon an Imp Lancer. Now if you don't know what Imp Lancer is, it's already a 3 cost bronze card and it's a 3/6 storm. So this card, very nice Wrath card for a 2-drop. Other good Wrath cards, we got Goblin on steroids. Deal 1 damage to your leader, so a great card for activating your Wrath early on. Last words, give +1/+1 to a random allied faller. So it just has random upsides for having Goblin stats for no reason. So your Wrath, like there's so many ways to self-ping yourself, and also in the card pool, there's already Raz cards available. Dark Summons also a pretty good Raz card. 0 play points when Raz is active for you, and deals 3 damage to an enemy follower. Really just good cards. And you could probably splash in enough card draw into your Raz deck as well, so you're not running out gas with all these like cheap, efficient cards. So yeah, in my opinion, Blood got really nice cards. The Wrath package is very nice. It's going to fit in well with what's already in the card pool. Not too many Wrath cards are getting rotated out, I believe. Let me just... Yeah, so when we double check here, as you can see, there's 0 Wrath cards, basically, that gets rotated out next expansion. So, yeah, that's... For that reason, I put S tier for Blood, because from what they are getting in Fortune's hand, they're getting really good cards that I think support their archetype that it's already kind of that just needed some support, and this is the support that they needed. So I think Wrath Blood and some Wrath Blood, Average Blood as well, but mainly Wrath Blood is going to be really supported this expansion and definitely playable. At least a tier 2 deck, but I think it could possibly be a tier 1 deck. We'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, Blood just got really nice cards, so that's why I put an S tier here. So Dragoncraft, believe it or not, you may disagree with me. I don't care. You could disagree with me. Just comment it down below. But I'm putting Dragon on C. Now you might be thinking, wow, Dragon's tier 1 right now. Why would it be C tier? Again, this is based on the Fortune's Hands cards that they're getting. And if you looked at the cards that Dragoncraft is getting this expansion, to be honest, it's kind of crap. Now, like, yeah, you could, there's like some things you could do from Dragon with like, they got some good ramp cards, I guess. Like if you have Ernst Justice, for example, is a pretty decent card. You could probably play some meme deck where you're using Titanic Showdown from neutral. But Dragons, mainly from this expansion, they got discard cards. So if you look at like a lot of the silver cards, they got like this discard. If this card's discarded, summon an Ivory Dragon. An Ivory Dragon's a 1/2. And if Overflow is active, you could draw a card. I mean, like, and it heals you. Like, that doesn't really matter too much. You're only healing like 1 or 2 health anyways. Like, the cards aren't great in Dragon, in my opinion. It doesn't, first of all, Dragon still has Natural Dragon, so when you're thinking about the Dragon cards, there's no support for Natural this expansion. And, yeah, so there's no new cards in the Natural Dragon deck. And Natural Dragon is even losing like Core, which is kind of good, which is actually pretty good in Natural Dragon. So Natural Dragon still looks better than what Dragon looks like they could be playing next expansion. Like, you might be able to play Evolved Dragon still. Evolved Dragon might get better, I'm not too sure. But yeah, there's just not any cards that really interest me when I look at this, and they just seem really underpowered compared to what other classes we're getting. So that's why I put Dragon as C tier. I would actually possibly put Dragon into D tier. You know what? Yeah, I'm putting Dragon to D tier. I'm gonna have to revise my notes a bit, but just looking at the cards again, Dragon got really garbage cards this expansion, and I think if Dragon is going to be playable in the next meta, like, they're going to be playing mainly their old cards. So yeah, if you see something that I don't see, then let me know, but I'm putting Dragon into D tier now. Okay, next up on the list here we have Forest. You know, guys, I've been expressing this on my Twitter and in my videos. I probably talked about this, but after seeing the silver and bronze cards come out, Forest, holy S tier. Like, if we're doing by order too, I think Forest is even better than Bloodcraft. Like, Forest got the nuts this expansion. So let me show you why. So basically what Forest is getting next expansion is a lot of accelerate support, and with the release of the silver and bronze cards, like Hangman and Terraformer, like, you don't even have to care about these cards anymore. Hangman might still be good, just for like the evolve effect. I don't think the enhanced effect is going to be relevant. Terraformer just bad. But holy, this card, this is the doggo, the dog of this set, the good boy of the set that is going to make Forest tier 1. Now, Forest is losing Nature's Guidance, but this is basically an exact copy of Nature's Guidance. Accelerate 1, return an allied follower amulet to your hand, draw a card. It's literally reads the same thing as Nature's Guidance, so Roach loses nothing. I think they lose Whirlwind still. Arrow says Whirlwind, but it's fine because there's other, I'll show them too, but Roach just gets a lot of utility. A lot of cheap Accelerate cards. This card also has the Storm effect, but mainly you're using the Accelerate 1, I think, for Roach bounces. But there's just really good Accelerate cards like Blossoming Archer. If you play an Accelerate effect, deal 2 damage to random main follower. You might not play this card actually though. It's kind of slow in a Roach deck. Kind of clunky. But this one, Accelerate 1, draw a card. Like, this is just good. Like, this is actually just really good because you have Fae as well. Like, it just works really well in towards of activating your combos and stuff. We have an additional heal and recovering Evo points. This card is actually really good too. Roach, of course, as you know, sometimes you just take a little bit of a beating in the early game, so the defense actually, the healing is actually pretty important. And 2 play point spell, really easy to play at least 2 other cards on the turn during the mid game, especially with all the natural stuff that Roach has. And then recover 1 Evo point. This is what Control Force was missing because they lost Carbuncle. So recovering Evo points just really helps out with the class, because now you can evolve more Roaches. You can also evolve like your the Fairy Queen or something. So yeah, they also have this an additional 1/1, which becomes a 3/3 if you play 2 other cards. Or in the mid game, if you play 4 other cards, it becomes a 5/5 with Ward for 1 play point. So that's just really, really good. This card, meh. I mean, like, I think there's going to be some variations to Forest. There might not be like a Roach heavy deck. There might be like an Accelerate deck. But I just see so many good cards that could be put into Roach and just make it really good. So that's why I say I'm a little bit biased when I put Forest as the top in S tier. But I think that it just got really nice cards that really support an already well refined deck. Alright, for Haven now, I'm actually putting Haven in A tier. I think they got really solid cards. The reason why I'm not putting in S tier, even though the cards look really good, is that because I'm basing it based on Fortune's hand, and I'm actually comparing them to like other classes. A lot of classes could deal with what Haven can do. I think like there's going to be removal from like Rune, for example. A lot of rushing from Sword. Shadow can compete on board by making big boards, for example. Blood it's kind of more aggressive, but yeah, I think it's A tier just because Haven got some really good stuff, but compared to like Blood and Forest, I don't think it's as good. But like I said in my previous video, like Salisa, Reverend, Educator, great cards, very strong cards, is going to go well with Elena's. And the Silver and Bronze cards also support Ward, Elena, Haven. So we have like this Pure Song Priest, just 1 play point Accelerate, but you restore 1 health, 1 defense to your leader, which will trigger your Elena's proc. And if Ward's in play, draw a card, so it cycles itself if you're playing a Ward based deck. We have Stalwart Feather Folk, which is also just a 2 play point Ward. And then it also restores if any amulets are in play, restore X defense to your leader. So if you have Elena's Prayer on your board, it's going to restore 1 health to your leader, and it's going to proc Elena's. So there's like just so many, there's like Haven got good cards that are just like really good efficient heals to proc Elena procs, and they just gave them wards too to support just the ward archetype. So yeah, that's basically the reasoning why Elena's A tier. They got really good cards, but compared to other stuff, I think that other classes could still deal with Haven, and if you remove Haven's board, they might have troubles coming back onto the board. So yeah, that's what I'm putting in A tier. Portal Craft, I'm putting Portal into D tier next to Dragon. Portal's like, I would put it in like even bottom of Dragon if I could, so that's why it's very, very last. I had a look at the Portal cards, and yeah, it's just kind of garbage to me. I don't see anything that was good in it. They were supporting float type Portal for some reason, even though that deck wasn't really good at all. And they gave it the deck some puppet stuff, but there's no really like good puppets already in the card pool, and they didn't give any powerful puppet cards in this expansion. So yeah, and also like artifacts, they're releasing like Bestowal, so like you can't really, they don't have good strong artifact support as well because they're supporting more floating Portal archetype. So yeah, just overall, I mean, they have a 1 play point per paradigm shift in your hand, but without Bestowal, like yeah, Portal, they got like an okay card. I think this is like probably the best card that they got actually from the whole expansion, which is a 1 play point bronze follower. Artifact stands also okay, but yeah, overall not really impressed at all with artifacts. Is there something that I'm missing out on artifacts or on Portal? Let me know, but yeah. Shadow I'm also putting into A tier. If I'm comparing Shadow versus Haven, it's actually really close. I would actually maybe put yeah, I'm going to keep Haven on top of Shadow. The reason is Haven's a lot more consistent. The cards are not RNG, whereas Shadow is kind of RNG based. Getting into that a little bit more. Shadow has a lot of burial rights this expansion. So burial rights is not RNG because you get to choose which cards you're burial writing. The RNG factor is that the key cards that you want to burial right, for example, if you want burial right Conquering Dreadlord, it has to be in your hand. So if you don't have the key cards you want burial right on the turn that you need to play your burial right follower, your pool is going to be not as strong as you build your deck to be. So there's that, and then like like there's a little bit of RNG with Miltio's reanimate. That's not too bad. The main thing is just the consistency of finding your cards that you want to burial right. So your deck requires 2 parts. You have to find your followers that have burial right, like say this card for example, and you have to have the target that you want to bury right into. So there's 2 parts to it to make your deck really function well, and then later on you do have to find like your reanimate cards, like Bonanza and stuff. So that's why I think Shadow's got some really cool stuff. The burial rights look really interesting, and I'm pretty interested, looking forward to experimenting with Shadow and just kind of like a burial right reanimate deck. This coffin is actually pretty cool as well, in my opinion. Yeah, so yeah, Shadow compared to like other classes too, they just got really solid stuff, so that's why I think it's an A tier level. For Swordcraft I'm also putting it into, or not also, but first time I'm putting Swordcraft into B tier. I think Sword got some pretty solid stuff. They got like going back to this site, like Sword, they got a lot. Sword is like the only class that got Rally, I think, as their mechanic. While Rally will work pretty well with Sword because Sword has a lot of cards that just summon like Knights and Guardians and stuff. So you can hit your Rally cards. The Rally cards aren't too impressive to me. Like this, Rally 7 just evolved his follower for the 2 play point. It's like kind of underwhelming. The way I see Swordcraft is basically it's just still going to be Evolved Sword as the most popular deck. Like there's probably going to be some kind of token mid-range sword, but it's still going to have a lot of evolved mechanics in it. Some people might be trying to play some RNG only on the Chariot deck, but yeah, Swordcraft, they don't have such a big impact as what I see other classes doing. Like Blood, for example, once you hit your Wrath condition, I think you have really strong cards. Whereas comparison Swordcraft, if you hit Rally, you get some decent cards, and they're just spamming tokens. But yeah, I mean, some people might be able to make like an aggro or just a really token heavy Swordcraft deck, but there's nothing really that impressed me in Swordcraft that much. The only card that wowed me in Swordcraft was probably Oleon the Chariot, just because the effect is so crazy. Actually, thinking about it a little bit more, and I should have thought about it more before recording this section, but I'm actually moving Sword to C tier because I need something to fill in each tier here. And since I moved Dragon down to D, I'm also moving Sword down to C, just because when I scrolled through those cards again, Swordcraft really didn't get anything that I'm like really excited about. So I think the quality of cards Sword has gained is around C tier. And then finally for Rune, we are putting it into B tier. Because Runecraft got a lot of cards that just support various archetype. Linko the Fool is going to be playable in either like spell boost runes, or you could play it just in like kind of a dirt rune. It's just a card that you could splash into any rune deck. But most of the support is for Earthrights. So we already saw like Imperator of Magic, which I thought is really good. Madcap Conjuration. I think this is one of the really interesting cards that Rune has gained this expansion. Like when I was talking about Havencraft, for example, Havencraft could maybe build a huge ward board, but for 2 play points, Rune could just destroy the entire board with Madcap Conjuration. So like that's the thing. Like this 1-drop is also pretty strong. 1 play point, Earthright, gain +1 with +1. Last word, summon 2 Earth Essence. Like that's a really strong Earthright card. Authoring Tomorrow is a very interesting card as well. Magical Augmentation is also pretty good. Earthright 2 do 4 damage and then draw 2 cards. Earthright 2 seems expensive, but when you look at like when you have cards like Juggling Moggy, it's actually not that bad. So mid-range Dirt Rune seems like it could be an okay deck. I don't think it doesn't seem like it's ever going to look like a tier 1 deck to me. At most it's probably going to be like bottom tier 2-ish. But again, I'm going to talk about like deck archetypes in a different video. But yeah, Rune got like some decent cards. It's very splashable, like Madcap Conjuration mainly, and the Fool. Very splashable cards, so yeah, Rune just got really solid stuff. So that's why I think it's B tier, because nothing's like broken, but nothing's like terrible compared to what we've seen in the bottom end and compared to like the top end of the classes. So yeah, that's basically my thoughts on the Fortune Hands card, classifying each class based on what they are gaining this expansion. If I were to put neutral, I was actually thinking of putting neutral in this video, but I don't have an avatar for it. I would put neutral into C tier. Just talk about that real quick actually. Like neutral, basically with neutral, the world is going to be played in a lot of decks as like a 1 of or 2 of, just as a tech. It's got really good fanfare ability. And I think Resolve of the Fallen is also a very strong card in certain decks like Evolved Sword or Evolved Dragon. And that's pretty much it for like Sudden Showers. Maybe this card is actually really good in like Shop Rune or maybe like Carol Rune, for example. So this is probably the 3rd good card in neutral. Titanic Showdown's kind of really weird. Cloud Gigas is weird as well. Starbright Deity is also weird, and Windsalt God I don't think it's very good. So yeah, like I would put neutral in C or B tier. I'm not too sure, maybe in between. But yeah, that's my thoughts of neutral. So yeah, like I said, if you enjoyed the video, and if you think I missed out on any points, or if you disagree with any of my ratings, feel free to leave a comment down below, and give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and would like to see me make another tier video on my predictions of the next meta and what decks that I think will be like S tier or like B tier level decks, for example. And yeah, subscribe for more Shadowverse content. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.